Hello, and welcome back to another opinionated reality check. We are talking about another episode of The Challenge. Now, again, spoiler alert, I've given you ample time to watch, get caught up, going into episode 3. Let's get it. So, this episode was we started with another challenge. Each week there's obviously a new challenge, and then there's an elimination. So this week the challenge was called, what the hell was it called? Search and Destroy. So what it was basically, it was like a big maze out in this desert, and there were about, I think, 6 balls, but there were about 8 or 9 teams. And each team, so it went in heats, as it does, male and female heats. I think it was four rounds. The first one was males. The males had to find the balls, bring them to the girls. The girls had to then run through a mud pit and get to the other side to make their team safe. Now, eventually, there's not enough balls for each team to successfully go across the finish line. So then you have sort of tackling and kill or be killed sort of mentality. It's kind of like, what's that? Kind of like a keep away game. And this was sort of interesting because I found that the girls were more aggressive more quickly than the guys. The guys kind of let a few of them just kind of run past, like, okay, I made it. And then it took like, whereas for the girls' heat, I feel like the girls sort of jumped into it quicker and got a little crazy quicker. So, I don't want to talk about that. The top 3 teams who make it to the final round and finish successfully are safe and become the tribunal, as we had noted last week. Hunter and Georgia are safe from elimination because last week they were in the killing zone and they won. So they received the relic, which protects them and puts them in a safe position for that week's elimination, which is awesome. So if you go into the tribunal, if you go into elimination and you come out successful, you get the relic protects you. So Hunter and Georgia are safe. So they can kind of just swing on by and sort of help their other teammates win. So the heats go on, and Zach makes a huge blunder, huge mistake that basically costs Johnny Bananas the game. Wes, by extension, wins because of the assist that Zach gives him, and the tribunal is now made up of Wes and his partner, Pauline and his partner, and Killicam and her partner. They make their nominations, and Amanda and Josh, who are team members, are part of those nominations. And of course, Amanda goes in there and does what she does best. Talk pure shit. She goes in there, she pleads her case, the tribunal hears her. Basically, Killicam decides to use her as a burn vote. Between Wes and Paulie, it's Kyle that gets nominated and his teammate, and Johnny Bananas and his teammate, Morgan. So Cam decides to burn a vote on Ashley and Josh. Amanda and Josh. And Amanda decides she's going to threaten all of the females in the house. If you choose me, I'm going to cut you. I'm going to do this. I'm going down swinging. Blah, 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 blah. And so she makes an ass out of herself. And so Josh pulls her aside and says, listen, nobody likes you. Which he's not wrong. Nobody likes you, but you're making this worse for us than it needs to be. If you've been told that you're a burn vote, why are you going around rallying people up, getting people all riled up and wanting to nominate you, dumbass? So she calls him stupid. They go back and forth and call each other horrible names, and Josh basically calls her out in our drama and says that she's stupid. She says, my drama's for a purpose. There's a method to my madness. She's just a disrespectful, I'm going to leave that blank. And then something I noticed was Josh, I was reading my notes. Josh kind of, when he played in Big Brother, he had a very similar sort of gameplay, very sort of cause some drama or be a part of drama, redirect people's attention. But I think that with this game, because he's unaware of how the game works and how politics are, he doesn't like being in Amanda's sort of dramatic shadow. I think if he's at the forefront of the drama, he feels good about it, but because he's behind someone who's notoriously known for causing drama and for being disliked, he's not so keen on her gameplay, which I find to be ironic. Anyway, so they go to the killing zone, and Bananas is ultimately called out after they had to go through 2 rounds of voting because nobody wanted to vote anybody in. Everybody was sticking with their original votes. And Bananas gets called out as the person to go into the killing zone. Bananas feels betrayed by Zach, so Bananas calls Zach out and his partner Zahida. It's a competition called Map It Out where they have a certain amount of time to put a certain amount of numbered magnets on the map and correctly identify the location with the flag magnet. And as we are, well, as if you've watched the show, you know that Johnny Bananas is great with certain challenges and other challenges he's not. Same with Zach. Zach is beautiful, but has, as far as I've seen, big for brains. And somehow he and Zahida, I think it was more on Zahida's side, they beat him. They beat Bananas. So the infamous Bananas has been eliminated. He's out. And I feel like this episode was sort of tailored around nothing specific other than Zach's drama with his girlfriend and his inability to get past what's going on. My head's not in it, and I don't want to be here, blah, blah, blah. So go home, Zach. You know the gameplay. If you're having a hard time and you're frustrated, go home. You're not that important in the game. You're not a CT, you're not a Bananas, you're not even a Wes, really. So you're kind of just that guy. So you should have went home rather than mess up Bananas' game, who would have been there and been entertaining to watch and caused lots of drama. Zach is womp womp this episode. He's the reason for the drama, and he's the reason for Bananas going home. I'm a Bananas fan, so I was pretty TO'd. And I don't like seeing Wes not have an arch nemesis. Like, if Wes is left alone to his own devices, he'll run the show. And I like to see him have a competitive energy with Johnny Bananas, because that's usually Johnny Bananas' role when Wes isn't there. Or if they're still playing together, it's sort of a combative energy. So that was last week's episode. That's my opinionated reality check. I feel like these people, the newbies, are really kind of getting a feel for what the game's about. It's a little bit of crush talk here, and who slept with who here, and who kissed who here. Oh, Kyle kissed his partner Maddie, and then people proceeded to tell her that he is a toilet, like I told her, like I had said last week, and to be careful because you're gonna get any old shit if you touch on him or kiss on him. And Cara Maria did her usual, don't talk to him, he's trash, because I think she's still jealous. But anyway, I'm wrapping it up. This has been another episode of Opinionated Reality Check. The Challenge, War of the Worlds. I'll see you next time. Second episode. I feel like the first episode was a good starter, but there's not a lot to really talk about, and I want to get down to the drama real quick. So I'm going to hold off and do episodes 1 and 2 together. So enjoy this week's episode of Opinionated Reality Check, to the Challenge, and I'll see you next week.